Prime Minister has promised Britain's biggest ever investment in schools, hospitals and transport. In a speech in Bristol, he claimed Labour had brought about a successful economy, achieved, as he put it, through choice, not chance. The Conservatives, meanwhile, launched a poster campaign with the theme, "You paid the tax, so where's the money gone?"
The trouble with getting out campaigning is it's never all one way. The first tomato of election year, here it plummets. But the slight indignity in a dry cleaning bill was a price worth paying for Tony Blair's journey to Bristol. His message that prosperity comes from Labour choices, not chance, should last longer than the memory of a little ballistic fruit.
We are going to be putting in, over the next few years, indeed starting with this last year, the largest ever sustained investment in public services Britain has ever seen. And at every stage, that money will be accompanied by reform to deliver higher standards of quality in public services.
That's probably Tony Blair's core election message, to an audience which was Labour-dominated but not hand-picked. This was a real engagement between the Prime Minister and some hurt, disappointed people.
I joined nursing because I care about people, but I don't feel very cared about myself.
Challenged on hospitals, trains, buses, the new Blair mood is noticeably grittier.
It's going to be a hard slog. You know, it was a downward spiral that took us to this point, and it's a hard slog to get back up there.
Back in London, meanwhile, the Conservative stunt of the day, projecting their attack on Labour's spending record onto the notoriously expensive Dome, was quickly cut short by security guards who sent the Tory undercover team packing. But if you missed it on the Dome, you won't miss the new Conservative campaign coming to a hoarding near you, 1,000 of them across the country, representing a hefty slice of Conservative resources. They think the message of disillusion is real and strong enough to start to tilt what has seemed an unequal struggle.
You've paid the tax. So where are the teachers? Where are the police? Where are the operations? Where are the trains? Where's all the money gone? Tony Blair can't escape these questions that millions of families want him to answer.
And where do you find the millions? Well, the Tories say they, not Tony Blair, actually get out onto the streets. Their transport spokesman here outside Victoria Station tonight. Anyway, this January, they, the politicians, are back hunting us, the voters, with all the unpredictability that means. So, a bit of flying fruit, stunts misfiring, unexpected questions for the Prime Minister. That's campaigning. Tony Blair ended here today by talking about the cynicism and apathy that so worried him, and that goes for all of them. Part of the answer is going to be real meetings with real people and a real conversation that might produce a general election campaign really worth listening to. Andrew Marr, BBC News in Bristol.
2 German government ministers have resigned following the country's outbreak of mad cow disease. The Green Party Health Minister, Andrea Fischer, and the Agriculture Minister, Karl-Heinz Funke, both came under pressure after BSE was discovered in German cattle when testing began last year. Sales of beef in Germany have plummeted as a result.
This is the most serious ministerial crisis to break so far across the Red-Green alliance that's governed Germany since 1998. 2 ministers gone in a turbulent evening that provides a measure of the scale of the BSE crisis here. First of all, Andrea Fischer, the Greens health minister, who, ironically, has long opposed the kind of intensive farming methods that led to this emergency.
I'm forced to admit that the consumers' confidence in the government's ability to solve the BSE crisis is at an end.
Within the hour, Karl-Heinz Funke, the Social Democrats' agriculture minister, had gone too. His sin, to assure the public there was no BSE in Germany just days before the first case was confirmed. The blow to consumer confidence here is difficult to overstate. Some butchers have seen beef sales fall by 80%. Amongst the cascade of contradictory government advice in recent weeks, the health minister said on one day that sausages containing certain beef products were safe to eat, and the very next that they should be banned. Farmers who watched the value of their livestock fall by 2/3 and more in one weekend are, of course, furious. The Farmers Union is threatening legal action against any feed company found responsible for supplying contaminated feed. Animal products have long been banned from cattle feed in Germany. That's why the government took so lofty a view of the BSE crisis as it swept the rest of Europe. That arrogance has tonight cost 2 ministers dear. Peter Morgan, BBC News in Berlin.
And Peter Morgan joins me now. Peter, the German government seems to be making even more of a shambles of this than the British government did.
I think shambles is the right word, Michael. The EU warned all the countries of Europe that there was no state which could be relaxed about BSE last spring. The German government's own scientific advisors were advising it in April there could be contamination of the German herd, and yet ministers sailed on regardless with their assurances that everyone in Germany was free to eat, was safe to eat beef.
It sounds as if the German consumers are in something of a panic, even though the outbreak is really quite small as yet, isn't it?
That's right. One elderly lady said to me that she was 82, she'd been eating beef all her life and she wasn't going to change, but that wasn't a typical reaction. Many butchers, as I said in my report, have seen sales fall by 80%. Certainly, although this is a small outbreak compared to Britain, 10 cases here, there have been almost 200,000 in Britain, the consumer confidence reaction has been as great here or even greater than it was in the UK when BSE was first detected.
Peter Morgan, thanks. England's footballers have a new manager sooner than expected. Sven-Göran Eriksson resigned his job at the Italian champions Lazio today after a string of poor results. But the Football Association stood by their new man, saying Eriksson was one of the best managers in the world.
Tonight, Sven-Göran Eriksson said goodbye to a club which he's led to glory in Italian and European football. Thousands of fans paid tribute to the man behind the most successful period in Lazio's history. I will always carry you in my heart, he said. Now I must go. This morning, personal farewells to club officials and an acknowledgement that this season it's all gone wrong.
The results are not coming as we hope, and the team is not playing well in this moment, and I think as responsible of the team, I have chosen to take this step, and I hope it's better for the club.
Recent results have been poor, but Eriksson is still ranked among the best coaches in the world. Lazio are reigning Italian champions and cup holders, and with other clubs in Europe he's grown used to hoisting trophies aloft. But the winning ways have gone and the magic touch has apparently deserted Eriksson. Lazio are languishing in the league and out of the Italian Cup, hence his early departure. The Football Association said this evening that Lazio's loss is their gain, and 5 months earlier than expected.
He's won titles in Sweden, Portugal and Italy. He's achieved European success, and he's undoubtedly one of the top 3-4 managers in the world. And we've witnessed some of the comments over the last couple of months from people like Arsene Wenger and Sir Alex Ferguson. So we know exactly what we're getting, and that's one of the best people in the world for the job.
England's last international success was of course the World Cup in 1966, but the FA are confident that Eriksson will bring more silverware to this cabinet in the coming years. Adam Minot, BBC News, at FA headquarters in central London.
2 teenagers arrested this morning over the murder of Damilola Taylor have been released on police bail until February. 10-year-old Damilola bled to death on a South London housing estate in November.